What are planets? A seemingly simple question but not having a simple answer. We know that Earth, Mars, Jupiter are planets. And Ceres and Pluto were also considered as planets. But now we don't count them as planets. Why? So hello everyone, welcome to our channel. And today we are going to learn about planets. What are planets? The relatively large natural bodies that revolve in orbits around the Sun or other stars are called planets. In 2006, International Astronomical Unit proposed 3 conditions for any solar body to be termed as planet. First, it must orbit a star or a sun. Second, it must be big enough to have enough gravity to force it into a spherical shape. Third, it must be big enough that its gravity cleared away any other objects of a similar size near its orbit around the Sun. That means its neighborhood should be clear. And by having these conditions in mind, we have 1 Sun, 8 planets and 5 dwarf planets in our solar system. The planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. These celestial bodies completely satisfy the conditions that were put before. And the dwarf planets that are Ceres, Eris, Makemake, Haumea and Pluto, who does not completely satisfy the conditions. And that's why Ceres and Pluto were stopped being considered as planets from 2006. The 8 planets of the solar system can be divided into 2 groups: inner planets and outer planets. The 4 inner planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. They are also called the terrestrial or Earth-like planets. These relatively small worlds are composed primarily of rocks and metals. And the other 4 outer planets are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. They are also called Jovian or Jupiter-like planets, and all of them are much bigger than the inner planets. Saturn and Uranus are the 2 planets who have their own rings. Uranus have 2 rings and Saturn has 7 major rings. Jupiter is the largest planet known in our solar system. It's so big that almost 1300 Earths can fit inside it. Whereas Mercury is the smallest planet of our solar system. Every planet in our solar system orbit around the Sun and we call it revolution. Also, these planets rotate around an imaginary axis at their own position, and we call this as rotation. Earth takes almost a year or 365 days to complete its one orbit around the Sun. And for completing one rotation around its own axis, it takes almost 23 hours, 56 minutes and 4 seconds. Among all the planets, Mercury has the smallest revolution time, that is only 88 revolution Earth days. Whereas Neptune has the longest revolution time, that is almost 165 Earth years. That means spending 1 year in Neptune is equal to spending 165 Earth years. Strange. While coming to rotation, we have Jupiter, who completes its one rotation in just 10 hours. Whereas its 2-house neighbor Venus takes almost 243 days. That means spending a day in Venus is like spending 243 days in Earth. Strange. Most scientists believe that our solar system began to develop about 4.6 billion years ago from a large cloud of gas and dust called the solar nebula. The gravity of the cloud began pulling the cloud's matter inwards. As the cloud contracted, the mass of the cloud increased. The compression increased the pressure and the temperature at that point, resulting in making a big ball of heat and light that we call it as a sun. The left out matter of the cloud made themselves into different solar bodies. The larger the mass, the greater is the gravity. So as the mass increased, the gravity eventually started making everything in the spherical form. And that's how we named the solar bodies as planets, moons and asteroids. But it's not that we only have these planets. There are millions of solar systems and planets in the Milky Way galaxy and the known universe. In fact, astronomers have even found those planets who doesn't fit into those conditions but still can be considered as planets. These discoveries raise a question to our knowledge, information, and understanding of this riddled universe. Anyways, universe is an enigma, full of mysteries and unsolvable riddles. So that's it for today's topic, the planets. Thank you. Namaste.